Dune Part 2 is the highly anticipated sci-fi film directed by Denis Villeneuve. So today, let's see if this film is worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. Paul Atreides unites with Chani and the Fremen while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the universe, he must prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. Denis Villeneuve continues to show why he is one of the best directors currently. I thought Dune Part 1 was a fabulous film. I loved the epic feel to it, the world building, the visuals. It was all just a really good film. And going into Part 2, I was really anticipating this story. Now, I have not read the book. And so going into it, I don't know the continuation of Paul Atreides and the Fremen and all of that storyline and him being this Messiah. But the way that Denis Villeneuve captures this story, it only builds on that first film. It continues to look at Paul Atreides as this Messiah. It only builds on the world set within this movie and continues to develop these characters to where they're so likable, and it just feels absolutely intense. I did not think that Denis Villeneuve was able to top Dune, but he outdid himself with Part 2. In 10 years from now, I do think that this film will be in the same realm as the way that we talk about Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. This will be part of those movies. Those movies have stood the test of time. Those are regarded as some of the best films of all time, and ones that people just absolutely adore. They're able to get lost in those worlds within Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. To continue the stories, this will be a film series that people will be talking for years to come. This is such an epic movie. I found myself absolutely immersed in the world that is set up within this film. One of my favorite aspects of Dune Part 2 is the whole Messiah conversation surrounding Paul Atreides. You have a group of the Fremen who believe that he is the Messiah. They're praying. They believe that he will lead them to a better life. And then you have a group of other Fremen who don't believe that. They feel like putting all of their faith into him is how they are constrained. And it's just so interesting how that mirrors religion in our world. He's so delicate with the story and how it is presented that is really the bulk of the movie. And the progression of all of that, I only found myself to be more interested in it. I loved the different discussion from Javier Bardem and Zendaya as they had different thoughts on how Paul Atreides was going to lead them. He wanted to just help out. He didn't believe that he was the Messiah. And there are a lot of people that were putting all of their faith into him. And that the whole storyline surrounding Paul Atreides is really nicely developed to where you see the struggles that he is going through. You see the conflict between him and the other Fremen and how he has to live up to this potential Messiah role and how he has to kind of juggle also his relationship with Chani, played by Zendaya. So there's so much going on in the 2 hour and I think 47-minute runtime that it dedicates so much of itself to that story, and it works so well and easily just adds so much to the lore within this movie, as also he wants revenge on what happened to his father. And now you also have the Iraqis and all the control that they have. There's that battle going on still for the spice, and you just feel the absolute most urgency within this film. The performances, once again, are really good. Timothée Chalamet continues to shine as an actor. I love watching him become more popular and taking on these big roles. I loved him as Wonka. I loved him in the first film. And here, there's that transition that slowly creeps up throughout this film as he becomes more confident in himself. He starts to possibly take on this Messiah role. It all works so well. Zendaya has so much more to do in this film than the first film. I love where she stood in this movie and she believed in herself as a character and how she added to a lot of the action scenes in here. Javier Bardem, I was really surprised with, as well as he put all his faith into Paul. One surprise was Austin Butler. He was unhinged in this movie. He was violent. He was a monster. He was very creepy. And I love the performance in here. Everybody was really good in here. I wish they would have utilized a little more of Christopher Walken and Florence Pugh, because I really liked those characters and the storyline surrounding them. I think they could have been implemented just a little bit more into the film. But nonetheless, I think all the characters and the performances were absolutely strong in here, and they added so much to the story and the emotion surrounding this film and the growth of him as that Messiah. The visuals, once again, are really good. They feel like they just take a next step up. We see a lot of them riding on the worms and all of the sandstorms. It is breathtaking. There are so many action scenes that I like, the hair was rising on my skin, and I just was like feeling all these emotions, and I just felt these chills going through my body as these action scenes are so intense and in your face, and the visuals are stunning for all of them. It's so epic to see how they were able to craft this world, but then also bring in the action and the violence and the destruction of all these equipments and how they're utilized throughout this film. What he did in the first film is only stronger in the second film. Within the over 2.5 hour runtime, you get so many epic action scenes that will be very memorable throughout the years and just adds to the intensity of this film. And the score accompanies it so well. It elevates a lot of these action scenes. It makes them intense. It makes them thrilling. And the score easily is one of the best scores I have heard in a long time. It's memorable. It adds so much to the movie and just gives you that experience. And this is the film that you need to see in theaters, based on the score and the action and the visuals. It just all is a theater experience. Now, without knowing any of the story and the continuation really of it, and I've seen the 80s Dune film, but I don't remember much of it. But going into this one, I was not aware of certain storylines. And honestly, I was really shocked with certain storylines that were presented throughout the film. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. I'm sure a lot of people know what's going to happen within this movie. But I did find myself interested in some of the turns that they take the characters. These are shocking moments that do feel like a Star Wars shocking moment, similar to Darth Vader revealing that he is the father of Luke Skywalker. You're going to get those shocking moments within Dune Part 2. So I love the story, the Messiah aspect to it. Paul Atreides taking on that role, but also trying to be his own person, and his struggle with the Fremens, but also being a part of that as well. Rebecca Ferguson is great as well, and her whole storyline is really intriguing, and it's creepy at times, looking at how she is trying to persuade the non-believers to believe in the Messiah, her son. It shows like the horrors of the faith into Messiah, but also the beauty of it as well. It's all crafted with attention to detail, and it's very delicate, and just so much effort going into crafting that whole storyline. Dune Part 2 really surprised me with its story, its characters, its visuals. Denis Villeneuve once again continues to show why he's one of the best directors, with Sicario and Blade Runner 2049. The first Dune, these are all really, really good films. And some of his non-English films as well are pretty good as well. He is a director that's continuing to show why he needs to be in discussion with one of the best directors currently working. Dune Part 2 deserves your attention. It deserves all of the money. It deserves all of the praise. I can't wait to see Possibly the third film, Dune Messiah, it does leave on like a cliffhanger as well, and it could be like a segue into the third film. So hopefully in a couple of years we get that film. But for right now, I really like this movie, and it's just a great build off of that first film, and just even better, which I didn't think was going to happen because that first film is really good. This one is even stronger and just builds so much on that first film. You feel the urgency, you feel that struggle, the conflict, everything within this movie. It worked so well. So before I give you my score for Dune Part 2, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer actions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. If you'd like to see where Dune Part 2 ranks amongst all the other 2024 releases I've seen this year, follow me on Letterboxd, and there you can find my ranking. I'm going to go ahead and give Dune Part 2 an A. Thank you guys for checking out my review for Dune Part 2. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy.